I didn't pay them for that. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dana Perino in for Greg on this special edition of Gutfeld. Okay, first let's do some jokes. The world's oldest baby was just born from an embryo frozen 30 years ago. Doctors worked for hours to separate the child from a bag of bird's eye mixed vegetables. According to a new poll, 1 in 3 Democrats consider their party weak and ineffective. The other 2/3, they weren't strong enough to answer the phone. At a home in the UK, an exterminator captured a 22-inch rat. When rats of that size are captured here in Manhattan, of course, New Yorkers, we are required to throw them back. A nuclear power plant in Minnesota will now notify local residents by cell phone instead of sirens if there's an emergency. Here is a sample text message. And a survey revealed 40% of people would end a relationship if they learned their partner was hiding debt. Another 40% said that's another great reason to hide debt. And Trump is planning to use the National Guard to help ICE with paperwork. After hearing the National Guard will be doing paperwork, Tim Walz tried to re-enlist. Lawyers in Ireland are blaming mass migration for their housing crisis, even though most of the mass is from one person. And the House Ethics Committee has rebuked AOC for listing her fiancé as both her husband and not her husband on various federal documents. It could be worse. She could list him as her husband and her brother. Elizabeth Warren has thrown her support behind Zohran Mamdani, this after initially claiming she had her reservations. And finally, our very own Greg Gutfeld will be appearing on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon on Thursday. And Greg is so excited that he's bringing his own chair. Can't wait for that one. Okay, to the monologue. Do you remember ex-ABC reporter Terry Moran? Well, he was axed in June for calling the president a world-class hater on social media, which sounds like something a 15-year-old girl would say during a catfight on Snapchat. Or Greg would say to Jesse in a commercial break. And that was after this happened a few months before.
Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you, Terry, but you're not being very nice.
Never heard of him? Well, that's the same thing Greg says about Epstein. And now the disgraced reporter admits the media is biased against Trump, writing, quote, "Were we biased? Yes. ABC News has the same problem many leading cultural institutions do in America. A lack of viewpoint diversity." I was going to say moron. Moran also claimed ABC had very few pro-Trump voices, leading to deafness in the newsroom. So translation, they reported the news if it fit their caricature of Trump as an evil fascist. But it isn't just Trump. The media has always been biased against Republicans. They attacked George Bush with relentless negative coverage. Trust me, I remember. I called Dan Rather on his birthday every year and ask, read any good fake documents this week? But at least Moran was being honest and was able to give this post-mortem. But the Democrats suffer from the same deafness, yet refuse to admit it. Last month, the DNC ran a post-mortem on their failed 24 campaign, but made no mention of decisions made by Biden or Kamala. None. That's like a coroner saying that Abe Lincoln died of lead poisoning. And now, after months of humiliating losses to Trump, the DNC chair thinks that they're the ones in the driver's seat. And from early indications, they took driver's ed with Ted Kennedy. I wonder, are they on the wrong side of the issues right now?
They're on the wrong side of the issues right now. Donald Trump is sitting at 37% approval. The Americans have buyer's remorse, people who voted for Donald Trump. They are certainly headed towards a certain election loss next year if this trend continues. And so the only thing they can do, of course, is rig the system, is to cheat, to do a mid-cycle redistricting in states to steal more seats, which is essentially what they're doing in Texas.
Yes, the Democrats think that the GOP is delusional, not the Dems, who believe they have high hopes of a blue wave in the midterms, although as one polling expert notes, that might look more like a blue trickle. Blue trickle, that sounds a little like a Smurf with a prostate problem. Because if they continue to ignore Trump's success, they have about as much hope as Joe Maki at an Indigo Girls concert. Instead, the party is elevating voices that make you want to reach for your earmuffs.
The Supreme Court has paved the way for half the stuff that we see that's going on. Listen, Donald Trump is a piece of okay, we know that. Yes, he is. He is.
But that's a voice that Dems have chosen to carry their torch, along with their other new darling, Zohran Mamdani, the radical rapping socialist hell-bent on turning New York City into a Soviet's paradise. This guy's so far down the socialist rabbit hole, even Bernie Sanders is like, dude, tone it down a little bit. And for one Dem leader, rent freezes and bread lines are the future of the party.
Is this what the party should look like, the Democratic Party moving forward?
You bet. When someone stands up and says, I will lead this city by making it more affordable, and here are my plans, real plans, plans to deliver on childcare, plans to deliver on housing, plans to deliver, we're going to experiment, we're going to try things on groceries. That is the Democratic message.
And she didn't stop there. She even did the media rounds to defend her guy.
What Zohran is saying is, I want people to be able to afford to live in New York City. That's what keeps it a vibrant city. That's what makes people want to live
Nobody
here.
disagrees with that, Senator, but raising taxes in order to do it?
Oh,
why is that
goodness.
the answer?
Oh, dear. Are you worried that billionaires are going to go hungry?
No, I'm worried that they're going to leave and spend their money elsewhere.
You know, they've threatened to do that over and over and over.
And they have. They've left.
So, yeah, Warren and progressive Dems seem to want to light the party on fire. Forget the fact that most voters don't want a steep descent into socialism. Americans want a secure border. They want low inflation, things Trump has delivered. But because of the Dems' seething bias, these victories are ignored, like the coupons that Greg gets from the big and tall shop. So you'd think the Dems would change course, considering even their own party has had enough. A recent poll found that more than 1 in 3 Dems think their party is weak and ineffective, and the other 2/3 couldn't even take part in the poll because they were suffering from cramps. And while the Dems are beating themselves up like Jussie Smollett, the same poll found Republicans have a positive view of their party. Worse, the Dems are reportedly planning to spend tens of millions of dollars on content creators. And if that sounds familiar, it's because they tried it in 2024 before their party crashed and burned. So the media and the Democrats have one thing in common: a blistering hatred for Trump that alienates half the country. And while the media admits their bias, it continues to eat the Dems alive, which means it's just a matter of time before they're all sitting down to enjoy a healthy serving of crow. All right, let's welcome tonight's guest. She has $2.3 million in her swear jar. Co-host of Outnumbered is Emily Compagno. And he's America's Pally who sleeps in an alley. Comedian and founder of StudioTSD.com, Michael Loftus. And as a new mom, she only sleeps 2 hours a year. It's New York Times bestselling author and Fox News contributor, Kat Tim. And he has to rent a bus for Take Your Kids to Work Day. New York Times bestselling author, comedian, and former NWA world champion. It's Tyrus. All right. Thanks for having me, everybody. Emily, I knew Terry Moran a bit because when I was a deputy press secretary and then press secretary, he was in the White House. He was one of the correspondents. And we knew that pretty much everyone was against us, but we were still friendly with them. But now everything is laid bare. How do you see it?
I don't appreciate this now pattern of people who participated actively in the machine of corruption and cover-up all of a sudden sort of coming to confessional after just to make a buck, right? He was disgraced, and rightly so, fired, and then now is sending out Substack. So I don't think he needs any more oxygen, especially because what he's saying is the obvious. We all knew it this whole time. The reality is we needed someone then to actually speak up. And speaking of speaking up, so Liz Warren sort of floats down to New York City and tries to weigh in at this national level on our city's politics. And I find it so amusing that she went to CNBC, a financial network, and tried to talk about her academic, lofty principles. And they're like, Yeah, actually. This city saw 1 million people flee before 2020, taking with it $14 billion in 1 year alone. So those that are left carrying the mantle, there's either a slim majority of those billionaires who will foot the bill, or the rest of these hardworking New Yorkers who can't afford anything that, by the way, all voted for Cuomo. So she and Mamdani are two clowns, and hopefully, however, they're not going to be successful here.
Michael, Greg texted me earlier today and told me you're still homeless and wanted me to ask you if they have news at the shelters.
There's not a lot of news at the shelters.
Okay.
We're usually using yesterday's newspaper, but for like more business affairs.
Right.
That's what you got to do. This guy, I never knew who he was before.
Terry Moran?
Right? And now I don't know him now. So I figure, like I timed that out beautifully, right? Because that was Trump. He's like, I don't know who you are. I gave you the big deal of a lifetime, and now you're going to take a big crap on me, and I need yesterday's newspaper. Bang. So long. I'm with you. The thing that's making me laugh about all of this is this Elizabeth Warren showing up in New York to talk about. It's like she's like this socialist Batman, you know? She's at home and she sees the communist light go off in the distance, and she's like, I've gotta go and spend other people's money. You know, she gets her collar popped, she starts shaking, her little starter earrings start trembling, and and you can't run away from her. She'll track you down. Then that Indian pops in, and she's like, there's a rich person somewhere having fun. I should go over there and preach socialism and take his money and put it in my pocket. You know it's bad when Bernie didn't show up.
It was pretty bad. And also, the CNBC host, Kat, he didn't seem like he was buying it at all. And then you have, but what's interesting is like the energy on the Democratic Party. You can take your pick. Is it Jasmine Crockett? Elizabeth Warren is trying to draft onto Mamdani. Is it AOC? It's certainly not Kamala Harris.
Aw. You guys remember her? Yeah, I mean, and it's just, she couldn't wait to say it either. Oh, she like really thought she ate with that, right? Like, oh dear, billionaires gonna go hungry. As if that's the problem, right? As if the only people who will have their lives changed would be billionaires. And as if billionaires wouldn't leave. A lot of rich people have left New York already. If I didn't have this job, I would not live here, would you? If you didn't work here, would you live in Manhattan?
If I didn't have this job? No, probably not.
Yeah, no, that's the only reason that I'm still here. So
I mean, I do love this city, and that's why this all breaks my heart.
I work here, and I still don't live here.
Yeah. So I love this city. I've always wanted to live here. Ever since I was little and knew that this place existed, this was where I wanted to be.
Right.
But I will say that it's not been the same since COVID. I think that a lot of what made it special were those smaller restaurants that were just, now it's entire blocks are either there's nothing there, or it's like Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks. It's all these chains because these small businesses
Don't forget the pot shops.
They couldn't survive.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing we need is something else making it even more difficult for the small businesses that have survived to survive something else.
Zooming out, bigger picture if you want. I mean,
everything with
bigger picture, right, Tyrus? Are the Democrats still deaf? And Terry Moran says that they were deaf to the rest of the country. Do they still have that problem?
Terry Moran is a squeaker. Okay. You know what a squeaker is? Anyone who read the book Animal House, Squeaker was the fat pig who was castrated, that every time Napoleon would do something, he'd run out and he'd push the narrative. And that's what the media is. They're squeakers. They run out and they're there for Team Democrat, and they go out and all their news and all their cycles is based on a narrative. So what happened was eventually they got tired of that squeaker and they cut him loose, and now he's looking for his balls again, and I'm trying to tell him in the nicest way, once you cut them, they don't grow back, bro.
Even on Substack.
Yeah, even on Substack. It's just, the thing is like, you want to get behind whenever you have a Native American and an African American come together, as an African American myself, you want to support that. My great grandmother had the good hair, so we had the Native American gene somewhere in our family. But then when you see the pictures, you're like, what in the like?
It doesn't really fit your
No,
image.
and I'm light skinned, but damn, like this. He has heat burn from the camera.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.